81-22, there are two very interesting things. One about the empty arena match, tying into everything with Lawler and Funk, and the other about a match that people today, some people still consider the best match in MSG or the best match in the WWE, Patterson versus Slaughter, the alley fight.
Oh, okay. Well, and actually this clears up. Somebody was confused as to exactly what date the Funk Lawler Empty Coliseum match took place, because it wasn't obviously advertised because there were no fans there and there were no tickets sold to it. And I had been told at the time that Funk flew in and they did it the Monday afternoon before the matches. And this verifies that, because somebody else was saying that they couldn't narrow down the exact date that it took place. So it was April 13th, 1981. And it says the rematch of the century took place and nobody showed up to watch it. Terry Funk issued a challenge to Jerry Lawler to wrestle him when no one was there. Funk had complained that Lawler had the fans, the referee, the police, and everyone else on his side, and he wanted a match with nobody there except for a film crew. The bout took place at 1 o'clock in the afternoon with only Lance Russell and 2 cameramen present. During the match, Funk and Lawler fought all over the Mid-South Coliseum. Funk tore up the ringside steps and had a jagged piece of wood he was going to use on Lawler. Jerry kicked Terry's hand, trying to knock the stick out of his hand. Instead, the force of it sent Funk's arm up, and the stick hit Terry right in the eye. Funk's eye became so bloody the tape had to be edited for TV. Terry yelled for the match to be stopped, so Lawler was declared the winner. And that was his review of the Empty Coliseum match. And then the May 4, 1981 Madison Square Garden card.
How about that third match on that card?
Peter Maivia pinned Rick McGraw with a backbreaker over the knee. It says Maivia is even fatter than Hippo Harley Race. We liked Harley, but Harley in 1981-82, he gained some weight.
Oh, he destroys Harley in a few of these here.
Yeah. And on that card in Madison Square Garden, WWF title Bob the Bum Backlund versus Angelo Mosca. That got 1.5 stars. The main event was Tony Gurria, Rick Martel, and Gorilla Monsoon substituting for Andre the Giant against Stan Hansen, Lou Albano, and Moondog Rex, 2 stars. Oh, I'm sorry, they put the midget match on last. Carolina Kid and Farmer Jerome beat Sky Low Low and Kid Chocolate, 1.5 stars. But the alley fight, you know, this is good because most people, I guess most fans of any kind of classic wrestling have seen the alley fight, Patterson and Slaughter. They've seen it on tape because it exists. It's out there. It was a famous match. So this will give you an idea of where that match placed in terms of matches that you didn't see, that Weasel saw. His description is, Pat came out wearing an I Love New York t-shirt, blue jeans, cowboy boots, and a New York Yankees cap, which he threw out to the crowd, obviously because he was the babyface. Slaughter entered the ring wearing what else fatigues. Patterson attacked him at the start of the bout. Pat took off his belt, hit the Sarge with it, and used it to choke Slaughter. Later on, Pat used the boomerang move, to throw Sarge head first into the ring post, which opened a pretty bad cut on his forehead. Pat took off his cowboy boot and hit Slaughter on the head with it several times. He also rammed the Sarge into the ring post a few more times. The Grand Wizard threw a white towel in the ring, so Patterson was declared the winner. I've been watching the MSG card since last September, and this was easily the best match that I have ever seen from there. 14 minutes, 13 seconds, 4 stars. The best
4 stars
WWF match that he had seen at that point, and one of the most legendary matches of all time in that company, got 4 stars because it was so far and above anything else you saw from the WWF at the time. But it wasn't as good as shit we were seeing in Cincinnati and shit we were seeing in Louisville and Memphis.
That show.
On
Look down.
Live events.
May 5th. Let's end with this because it's the same sheet. May 5th, Louisville, Kentucky. Talking 4-star matches.
Okay, well, and this was Crusher Blackwell's, actually not only his Louisville debut, the only time we got to see Crusher Blackwell. And a lot of AWA fans in 84, 85 are going to go, huh? There was a window of time from about, 1979 to early 1982, when Crusher Jerry Blackwell was better than Bam Bam Bigelow. He was better than Vader. He was the best big man in the business, better than anybody that would come along before or after of that shape. It was a very short window, but it was there. And because
Vince tried to get him. He was one of the first guys Vince tried to get from the AWA, and he decided at the last minute not to do it.
And within 2 years, he was back home in Georgia in ill health, running an outlaw group because the weight caught up with him and he didn't take care of himself. He had high blood pressure, sleep apnea, the whole 9 yards. But the main event, May 5th in Louisville, Jerry Lawler versus Crusher Blackwell. Blackwell was brought in by Jimmy Hart, trying to get the bounty on Jerry, trying to put Jerry Lawler out of wrestling like he had been with the broken leg. And anyway, so he was bringing in Hulk Hogan, the Funks, the people like Blackwell. And I remember this match. It was amazing. At the start of the match, they stand in the middle of the ring and the referee calls for the bell, and Blackwell jumps up at 6 feet tall and 460 pounds and drop kicked Lawler right on the chin. And the whole place went, oh boy. We didn't, because me and Weasel were the smart fans. We'd been watching Georgia TV, and we knew that Southeastern, the incarnation of Southeastern under Barnett, had used Blackwell. But a lot of people in the Gardens had only maybe seen a little TBS cable and never seen him live. And they shit themselves. And then Weasel goes on. I was amazed at some of the things Blackwell did. Flying knee drops, elbow drops, leg drops, big splashes. Blackwell gave Jerry a power slam, which was better than any other power slam I've ever seen. Blackwell threw the King out of the ring, gave him a flying elbow drop on the arena floor. Back in the ring, Lawler threw Crusher into the turnbuckles. The Force sent him over the top rope onto the ring apron, and the big man then landed out onto the floor. That Crusher Broomfield one-man gang, when he was with ICW, the reason why they named George Gray Crusher Broomfield was a takeoff on Crusher Blackwell, because he was the only guy that size they'd ever seen that could do that shit again. Anyway, Blackwell missed a big splash off the ropes. Lawler quickly covered him for a 3 count, 13 minutes, 16 seconds. I was impressed that a man Blackwell's size can do the things he does. His quickness is unbelievable. I wouldn't mind seeing him again at 468 pounds. He's phenomenal. And that was a 4-star match, about the same length of time and the same rating that he gave the alley fight
the day before.
The day before, he gave the day after to Jerry Lawler and Crusher Blackwell. And I would have to agree in its own way. They were completely different matches with different stipulations, but they were as good as they could be given the circumstances.